So with Magna Centipede down, we have one boss left to go, and we get to fight the last Sex Hunter there, Crystal Snail. You'll notice his level is called the Energon Crystal, which is a large, giant, evidently crystal-shaped building, but that's what they use for like power and currency in the Zero series later. I imagine they don't trade whole buildings. Here is really the only use of the strike chain, aside from against one boss later on. Getting this very tough to get heart. Jump out, and then you have to use the strike chain to get to that wall, or else you won't be able to make it. You can't use the charged up speed burner because you have to also use the robot ride armor to get over there. So it's kind of ridiculous. But this is a really neat stage. It's pretty, the music is nice. I like it. The fun part of this first part of the level is trying to get your mech with you. And if you're going to fight the X Hunter, you need to. And the way you do that is by using those large crystals to break all obstacles in your path, which you'd think the spikes could do, but they don't. You need to hop on that little uprising thing to get up there. But I don't really know what's going on in my head as I'm playing through this part, because it's really just kind of an embarrassing series of comical mishaps. And yeah, so the X Hunter door is in this chamber, and you can't get here without bringing the mech with you. And you also are going to need to use it to make this jump. So this X Hunter is appropriately named Agile, and he is probably the second most fun boss in the game. He even talks fast, that's cute. And he's Sigma incarnate because he has a sword. And like Sigma, you can very easily take him down, by clinging to the wall. And you can just kind of lock him into doing this. But I feel compelled to show you what else you can do. So if you stay on the ground too long, he'll do that little dash thing. For some reason you can't see this. Maybe it'll work out better on YouTube. But sometimes his little sword beams are a little bit lower to the ground, and you have to dash under them. But if you stick to the walls, he's really not that hard of a boss at all. But if you don't, he can be hard, but still pretty fun. There's just nothing else to say about him other than cling and shoot. And after defeating Agile, which we should do any second now, there we go. How do we see Zero? He's dead. He disintegrated. But now we get Zero's legs, meaning we have a complete body that we're just kind of carrying along with us. And that's really tricky and not very cool, having those spikes so close to the door. You just kind of la-di-da and fall down. You get that one up too if you still had the mech, but you don't if you had to fight the X Hunter. If you don't whoop-de-doo, you get an extra one up. And this guy is wrecked by the spin wheel. It pretty much just becomes a little game of dodge the odd white pellets and spin away. I hope I've made this fight crystal clear to you. Also, that's what the silk shot looks like in this level. It's kind of cool. You don't want to run away from this block because you can get on it and get yourself a little power up, which is pretty cool. That sound, by the way, was the sound of that body upgrade being fully charged, so we can use it now. Now we get the final upgrade of the game, which is the not useful at all radar optic upgrade, which sounds really cool and really like pseudo-scientifically, futuristically awesome. But it's not like what it might imply, that you can now see all sorts of power-ups you couldn't before. It is basically a little secret tracker. Like that. That's all it does. So, if you use it liberally, it's useful for your first playthrough of the game, and that's it. And, like, if you use it in those empty rooms that we found earlier, it just like it gets excited about the center of the room, and then is not helpful from there. And speaking of empty rooms, here's one. Can't use the silk shot in it. So if we charge it up, we get the decidedly less exciting bunch of energy power-ups, but you know, it's still nifty in case you happen to use a lot of energy before. So, Indiana Jones style run. And that's just really cheap. I'm sorry. I left that in there because that was kind of a funny death. Stupid bats! And fortunately, I'm not going to edit that out just because it's so close to where we were. And now I'm just going to take out my anger on these bats because, seriously, that's just not cool. Get all the way into the room this time, and head on up. That's another place that using Sonic Slicer would have been more helpful had I not been lazy. But here's the boss, whose weakness is the Magnet Mine. He's kind of a fun boss to fight with it, I guess. Now, as you might expect from somebody named Crystal Snail, whose name indicates A, slowness, and B, crystalness, his power is to shoot out globules of stuff that slow you down. In particular, that freeze you. And then his other power, well, you'll see in a minute, I guess. Well, as with snails, if you shoot him with a mine, he flies out like that, which is really fun, and you can kind of juggle him around by hitting him with the mine like while he's in the air or something. Because you can control the magnet mine as it is firing, like you can aim it upwards or down like that. And so it's kind of becomes an entertaining game to see how long you can keep him out of his shell. I vaguely remember being able to do something to like kick the shell around, but I don't remember what it was. As you can see, it's kind of annoying because he does this whole like slowing down time thing. It doesn't make the fight any harder, it just makes it more annoying. And that pretty much does it. He gets hurt not only when you hit him with the mine, but when he hits the wall. So, all that weapon switching was for naught. But that takes care of the 8th and final Maverick. Meaning we are in for a cutscene after we see what awesome weapon we could possibly get from this Maverick. And as you might expect, we are disappointed because we get the Crystal Hunter, which sounds so much cooler than it is, and the charged up version slows down time. What are you doing here? And now we figure out the true identity of Surges, namely Santa Claus. I knew it would come down to this. And now we get to head to the X-Hunter base, reactivate Zero, well, I guess that's cool, and then slow them down. Come on now. Nobody gives X credit, still. It's upsetting. But so now we get to travel to the North Pole and see the X-Hunter base. But first we can go back to Morph Moth's level and get the final upgrade. Well, not upgrade, but item of the game. Except for the one secret item. And it's right here at the beginning of the level, which takes a lot longer than it should, and I apologize for that. But you just freeze this guy. Oops. And then here's the 1-up, and here's the final heart tank of the game. Come back tomorrow, hopefully, for the X-Hunter levels. Yippee!